So I'm going to open the floor for questions. Does anybody like to come up and ask a question? Yeah, for sure. You guys can all stand right here if you want. Yeah, there we go.
Since all of you candidates have promised in your campaign some kind of increased sponsorship pursuit, I would like to know what experience you bring to the table when it comes to fostering these relationships with our business partners.
That's a good question. We have various business partners, and I believe if we depends on how we sell it. If we explain to them our vision, which for one for me is having more scholarships opportunity for the students, increasing the funding for the various tags. If that is what we explain to the businesses, we will be able to get the funding. And with the experience you said, I currently work at Cambridge Credit Union, and I noticed with our business partners, we have the banks, but we haven't really approached the credit unions like Assiniboine, Cambridge, Steinbach. Those are all the partners we can reach out to. And since credit unions are known for the community involvement, I think that would work for us as well.
Great question. So basically, I've never actually worked as a manager of corporate relations in CSA, but I have been familiarizing myself with the corporate partnership program. As I was on the Commerce Week, I was the co-chair a few years ago. So I have worked hard to kind of familiarize myself with that, and also working in TCW, I was able to kind of gain more understanding. And also, I think that working with the faculty advisor, they would have some strategic kind of vision to help out with. I also believe that the VPCR would be able to help with that, and also with increased conference funding for students to really get their name and the name of our school out there. I believe that that would also help increase interest for sponsorship at our school.
Thank you for the question. I think that first of all, it is very important that when us presidents are promising increased sponsorship pursuits, that we're not just handing it over to the Vice President of Corporate Relations. I think that it is very important that the President is also a key partner in fostering those relations. And as I said, I worked for the Northwest Company as Corporate Communications Coordinator, and part of my job was reviewing, accepting, and declining sponsorships that were requested from organizations such as the CSA. So I know what companies look for when these sponsorships are requested, and I think I can bring a lot to the table with this insight. In addition to having been part of the UMSU Finance Committee, we also get these requests from different student organizations. So I think that this insight from knowing what an organization that is going to give the sponsorship, what they want, I think that that is key. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question anonymously. How is improved degree recognition to be accomplished when the school has made it clear that the school and the associates want to keep Asper students in Manitoba? How is improved degree recognition to be accomplished when the school has made it clear that the school and the associates want to keep Asper students in Manitoba?
That's a great question, and I think a lot of students do want to stay in Winnipeg, and I don't think anyone's suggesting that we should encourage students to leave the province, but I'm just for me, I'd say keeping that opportunity open for students is important. And sorry, what was the second part of that question? I guess I'll just pass it off to Arthur.
Thank you for that question. I think that first of all, it is important to ask the students what they want to do. I don't think that we need to restrict students to staying within Manitoba, and I think that increasing the recognition of the ASPER degree outside of the province also helps us ASPER students and and future alumni to have a better value for our degree. Currently, we're not even in the top 20 schools, business schools within Canada, and I think that's a shame. I think we have so many talented students that the sky's the limit, and I think that we need to improve on various aspects such as quality program, increased exposure of our students outside of the province by expanding conference opportunities outside of the province and funding as well. You're getting our talented students out there, and we're increasing the exposure that and how other schools see us. And if you want to stay within Manitoba, I think that's great, but I don't think we should be restricting our students.
Thank you for that question. It's a really interesting one because you said they made it clear, because I've never heard that before, so I don't know how clear that is. But for example, as a finance student, I haven't seen that many opportunities in Manitoba. So if they want to encourage more ASPER students to stay in Manitoba, we could work together to maybe have more sponsorships for companies to come and talk to ASPER students on why we should stay in Manitoba. But just, I think them forcing it, trying to make it clear to us to stay in Manitoba, that would not be enough for the students.
I'd like to open it to the floor. Does anybody have any questions from the floor and like to come up? Yeah.
It's a question for all of you. What experience do you guys have voicing and advocating students at a university level?
Thank you for that question, Miranda. I think that as president of CSA, it is a big part of the job advocating for students and sitting with the dean and with the different committees of the undergraduate program in the school. And as I said, I've been on multiple Senate committees since my first year, which is the highest decision-making body of the university, as well as multiple UMSU committees and UMSU Council as well, which is the highest decision-making body of the student union. And I think I've learned a lot from how to approach senior staffs from various levels of administration and approaching them with student concerns and to make sure that we're being heard. First of all, we're very grateful to be in a faculty where the dean's office and administration and the faculty really listen to us and they really care. So I think that is key, bringing this experience to the table. Thank you.
Great question, and I think that I can say that I've been advocating for students since my first year. As first year rep, I led a council and we really tried to engage first year students, and I think we were fairly successful. Also in the Commerce Week, I worked closely with the Dean's office to bring Buddy Day, the luncheon, and other events such as that. And then this year, as social media coordinator, I've been really trying to get the word out to students about certain events and really engage with them and answer their questions. So I really believe that I can expand on that next year as president if I'm successful. So thanks.
Thank you for that question. I'm very comfortable talking to people, and so over my years in ASPER, I have talked to a diverse population of ASPER students, and just listen to what they have to say, listen to the ideas. And so if you check out my platform on my Facebook page, Time for Change, it is based on what I've heard over my 4 years being in ASPER. Like I said earlier on, I've never been on a CSA committee, but I've always volunteered. I've always been one of those booth shifts talking to students. And so if I am president, I'll keep that personality up. Keep coming out of the office, talking to students, and keep listening to what students have to say, because it is an association for the students, and it should always be kept that way. Thanks.
Okay, I have a question anonymously. What will your time commitment look like for the summers, since it is one of the busiest times for council? Will you be working in classes?
Well, I usually take summer classes, but if I am elected president, that's gonna have to go out the window, I guess. But because I do have a lot to learn, you know, not being on the CSA, it's more, I can say more pressure, but you know, I'm ready for that, and it's gonna take more time to prepare, and I'm ready to dedicate that time to learn a lot from you guys that've been on the CSA, and to share my ideas with you guys as well. And in summer, I do work part time, but I love the CSA so much. I'll maybe cut the time off as much as I need to make sure it's a great experience for every student here. Thanks.
So what my time commitment will look like this summer, it is very doable to take a couple of classes throughout the summer, and I think that it's important that as CSA president that if I get elected, that I am here in the school as much as possible, and through taking classes and staying here all day, supporting our council efforts. Summers are very heavy for planning, especially for our events. Every event that you see happen here in the school, it takes months and months of preparation, and the summer is definitely one of the busiest times for the council. So I think it's important that I am here in the school supporting our council members as well as students, keeping the door open and making sure that we have some office hours during the summer.
Okay, so my summer is looking fairly clear right now. Apart from I will be away for 2 weeks in Israel, but other than that, summer's completely open. So hoping to really crack down and make up for lost time. I'm also really available during the next year. I only have 3 courses left, so I'm hoping that will also kind of help aid that process.
Okay, opening up to the floor. Any questions from the floor? Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's stating that CSA is very inclusive, but if you ask majority of students not involved, it's really exclusive. How would you guys change this?
That's a really great question. Thank you. So basically, I think that a lot of students just feel like it's CSA as a clique, and I don't believe that's the case. I think that in order for us to really break that, what we need to do is kind of get the word out, start conversations with people, go to the classrooms and say, there's general council applications, they're open. You don't have to be super experienced to have a position on a council. In my first year, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. So I think just opening the door and starting conversations is what we really need to start doing, and that's how we can really break that kind of stigma.
That's a good question, Mac. I think I've spoken to guys on the CSA, and they say it's a family, and I do understand that because you guys spend a lot of time together. It makes a lot of sense. However, it's easy for everyone else on the outside to see it as very closed off. And for example, I did say I was going to make office hours public, so everyone can see when we are available to talk to you people. And apart from office hours, I'm a familiar face around campus here. I spend about 12 hours a day usually here. So for me, it's just going to be second nature. I've always been doing this. I'm always here, smiling. You can always talk to me. I'm free.
Thank you. I think that, first of all, many people see CSA as being cliquey because, once you get into council, you're spending a lot of time with about 50 individuals, and it is natural for you to become friends. Before I joined council, I didn't know most of the people in there, and everyone has always been super welcoming. Something else that I'd like to say is office hours are always open, they're public, and you can come chat with anyone. Something else is I want to create some opportunities for people who don't have as much time to put into council, such as creating a finance and a governance committee to allow students who still want to be involved to be able to engage with the association through a lower time commitment.
Okay, I have a question anonymously. What is your favorite CSA event and why? Okay.
So as I said in my speech, I really enjoy the Commerce Week because there's so many different events. So there's social events, there's networking events, and I feel like everyone feels super connected as a faculty in the beverage gardens at Commerce on the Quad. So my vision for next year is kind of really taking that and running with it for the rest of the year.
That's great. My favorite event, I'll say, I go to most of the Commerce socials. I think they're fantastic. We can also try to implement new ones there. Maybe like, because I went to St. Paul Social and like they had this jeans party. Like we could try that too. It's great. When I was in my first year, I really liked the etiquette evening. You know, I didn't know you had to hold your fork in a certain way or drink tea in a certain way or like pass the champagne around or wine. You know, it was a lot of information. I think I forgot everything, to be honest there. Business banquet as well, fantastic. It was a great team that worked on it this year. I was first nervous to chat with I saw it on the RBC table, and I thought it was gonna be very awkward because like there was drinks on the table and like, but they were very nice. They were very understanding. We had a great conversation together, drank wine together. I mean, how often can you say that? So yeah, for me, I would say right now I say it's the business banquet, but they're all fantastic events. I love them all.
Thank you. Well, that's a tough question. There are so many events, and they're all so great. I think that each of the events that we put on, they offer something different for the students, from networking to, meeting other people in the faculty. I definitely appreciate the networking events, but I would have to say TCW is a great one because you get to meet so many different students and network with the students. And I love talking to people. I love seeing what people are interested in. And I just love walking around. I'm usually in Drake Center 24/7, and anything that allows me to be close to my fellow students, it's my favorite.
Okay, I'll be doing one more question from the floor, so opening it up to the floor. Yeah, Joey, sure.
Just want to say great job so far, you three. Those are some pretty insightful answers. So I'm currently on the executive team, and this is something that we've been stumped with, and maybe one of you three might have a brilliant idea to help us out or help you out during your next year. We've seen across the country from a variety of schools that 80% of students will get involved with their student association, or it will at least have the potential to get involved, while 20% won't get involved at all. That's just the way it is. Weird, right? But one issue that we've had was we have these programs, conference funding. We've sent 20 plus students to different conferences across the country, Hong Kong, and even in the States. Taste, where companies will take a student to eat and what have you. We have these great programs that we can't get the word out of. Well, we've attempted to through social media, the TVs, classroom talks. But one challenge that we face is just getting the word out and having the average student that comes to school and leaves have these opportunities, just have it whispered in their ear or whatever. Do you have any ways that you think, besides these traditional methods, you could get the word out to? And yeah. Yeah, to students or, anybody that would be interested in the opportunities.
Well, I think it's going to be really difficult, first of all, to have 100% of students to be involved, because not everyone is comfortable enough to join the CSA or get involved, and that's okay. However, what I would like to do is everyone that is motivated and is willing to get involved, and I think email is a great way. Email is a great way of reaching people. However, I think in-person talks adds a personal touch. For me, I never used to read my emails until recently. So like, I'm sure most people don't really read the emails. So I think if we can get the exec team and president and guys on the CSA to approach students, maybe in the hallways or go to classroom talks or upstairs, we can reach more students that way.
Great question. So I've been social media coordinator this year, so I've kind of had to deal with a lot of that. trying to get students engaged and knowing about events going on, and I've found it to be quite the challenge. So I feel like, yeah, traditional social media, we always need that. Instagram has been a huge asset to the CSA for advertising and promoting. What I think we need to do is start getting students to be sharing these events as well. So how do we do that? Maybe a photo contest or something like that, where there'd be a prize, or one of the conferences could be increased funding or something if you win a photo contest, something like that. So I think we need to really kind of go beyond the traditional methods, as Johnny said. Also, classroom talks are always a great idea, or something like a live video. Those have been super well received lately as well, keeping at the top of someone's feed. So those kind of where I'm at, and I'm still honestly debating that question too. So if anyone else has any ideas, I'd be open to listening to those as well.
Thank you. I think that, first of all, the Commerce Week, which is at the beginning of the year, is a great resource to use because most students are engaged with that. And I think that we can really take advantage of getting the word out there, getting students to follow us on social media, to sign up for our bi-weekly newsletters. I think that another thing is we have a promotions coordinator, 2 positions actually under the marketing portfolio, and I think that we have room to create a street team to get more class talks in Asper. I'm sure that with elections right now, you've seen most candidates speaking in most of your classes. You've probably seen all of us. So I think that it's important to take advantage of a street team like other student associations have across the country. And as well as I'd like to create a thorough student guidebook, which would be an easy-to-use resource for students. Having all classes you have to take, multiple opportunities for students to look forward to by year, having something easy to look at besides that PDF on the Asper website.
Okay, thank you, candidates. You have heard from them all. We're closing the question period at this point. If you have any further questions, they will be sticking around a bit after. You can ask them your questions. Sorry if I couldn't get to them. Now, yeah, you guys can take a seat. Thank you.